Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today I want to talk a little bit about what to expect from the end of the beta program of the aircraft in Avionics Update 2, namely the 747 and the 787, as well as a little bit of general information about how beta process goes, why developers would do them at all, and what it generally looks like. Over the past couple of, weeks by now, there have been a lot of comments under my videos showing off the aircraft in Avionics Update 2 beta, which basically went like, oh, this totally sucks, this is so buggy, and how can you release something the likes? And this is something that I want to address in this video. So first of all, let's talk about how do I think the program will turn out? What are those aircraft going to look like by the time we reach the end of the open beta? Well, we still have a little bit of time left there for the developers to fix up stuff, and looking at the first changelog we could see that things are indeed coming along nicely. So what is the end result going to be then? Well, we have to keep in mind they do not aim to create a product like the ATR or let alone anything the likes of PMDG or Phoenix there. That is not at all what they want to achieve. But what they aim to do here is to create a product that is going to lie a solid base with a functioning LNAV, functioning VNAV, and overall system ability on which the community can then start modding the airplane. So basically for both the 747 and the 787 there have been good mods available with the salty and the heavy division mods, and surely they do not want to knock those out of the market. So you can be pretty sure that both of them are going to deliver updates to the finished AAU2 aircraft. Now, what they want to achieve, however, is an aircraft that is well flyable on normal SOP from point A to point B, which is what more than 99% of the flight simmers are doing in their every day-to-day operation. Now, on top of that, there will be a lot of good mods available, like if you've seen my recent couple of videos, you will have seen that I've been using third-party sound packs by flightsim Plus for my aircraft, which I can really recommend, by the way. They sound really good there for both aircraft, and stuff like that can be used to enhance your aircraft. Now, a lot of you have said like, oh, these things are so totally buggy, they are useless, and just give me back my old versions. Now, for those of you commenting that there are bugs at the moment, be aware of one thing. What we're currently flying is an open beta. This is not some sort of a release version. Now, in the recent days in flight simulation, developers have created big-time confusion about what is and what isn't a beta, an early access, or whatever developers are calling their unfinished releases that they're selling for the full price. Now, an open beta program basically is a program which is facilitated to give broad masses the ability to test your aircraft to enhance them. Basically, they're looking for stuff like what I did with my videos, that I flew them from A to B, that I gave them feedback like, hey, this is what the plane is doing, this is what it should be doing, this is what you can enhance, this is what you can enhance. And this is what those developers are looking for. And that is the overall sense of an open beta program, to get the aircraft tested by a wide audience before you release them to the entire general public. Now, this is exactly what is actually working out very well. Now, let me give you a little bit of experience of myself. I've been beta testing flight simulator add-ons for a period of over 10 years now. Actually, I started testing in 2011 on the Vilgar back then by Aerosoft. And from there on, I moved to the Aerosoft Airbuses, all different kinds of them, to the PMDG 737, in the meantime a little bit of other stuff as well. So I tend to say that I have a broad range of beta testing of aircraft for flight simulators. And that ranges from FSX to P3D now to Microsoft Flight Simulator. And let me assure you that I have not ever seen a single beta, especially a single first beta, that would have been perfect for a release version. This is not at all what the beta process is designed for, but it seems to be what a lot of the commenters underneath my videos seem to be expecting. Now, this is an open beta release, guys. This is not a final release of some flight simulation product. So obviously those bugs are going to be there. And based on my experience, while I'm still bound to a non-disclosure agreement, so I cannot tell you exactly what certain beta programs have looked like, but I can tell you that my broad experience ranging all over the different aircraft I've tested is that the open beta we are seeing over here is by no means much different from any of the other open, or rather closed betas that I have worked with over the past decade. So those are really very similar, so you can expect the final version to look similar to what other well-known good developers' releases have looked like. Now, that might be a CRJ or that might be a 737. However, it is going to be something in the mean of all those aircraft. So just because there are bugs in here right now, and just because there are some serious bugs in here right now, that does by no means mean that the final product is going to be any bad. Just let's have a look at the very first changelog there, and there will be more like this. So this is right from the Microsoft Flight Simulator forums up here, from the Aircraft Avionics Update 2 beta release notes. And as you can see, there's really a lot of stuff in here, especially when we get down to the Boeing 787 and Boeing 747 down here. You can see they are still adding new stuff into the game, but now look at the huge list of bug fixes and improvement that they have done over the, well, 1 week that we basically had there. So many of you might only have the experience from seeing updates after a release. And there is a substantial difference between updates being released after a product has been released to the market as a non-beta, so as a general public release version, and between updates that we see during a beta program. The most important difference there is that during the beta program we will still get the full effort of the developers supporting and expanding their product, because it is basically unfinished. So basically, in the beta program, the developer is working on his own resources and on his own money in order to get something to the market. On the aftermath of a release, however, in many cases, developers, and I'm not naming anything here, but let me rest assure you, none of the companies that I actively work with did that, but I am confident that a couple other flight sim developers have turned that way. So, while some developers, once a product is released, simply dedicate only 50% of the resources to a project, while the other 50% are moving on straight to the next project. And that obviously slows down the update process. And most importantly, however, once a product is released, it normally is polished in a certain way that many of the small bugs are already resolved. If we have a look into the changelog once more, then we can see that there's a lot of small fixing in here, like the altimeter is now replaced with a failure flag when altitude data is unavailable. Like, that is stuff that is rather easy to implement. However, it is quite an immersion thing when you actually have it in your simulator. So stuff like that is normally done more in a beta than in an after-release version, because that's the stuff that developers tend to finish up just prior to the releases. Now, in order to understand what the aircraft are going to look like at the end, just have a look at other release versions, and especially at other versions of the same developers, thinking of the Longitude, for example, here, that's also been done by Working Title Simulations. Now, the final thing over here is that many flight simmers' experience might be a little bit worse with what to expect from a beta program, for the simple fact that in the recent couple of, well, years, ever since Microsoft Flight Simulator has been released, developers tended to release stuff like early access or like, well, official release versions which were more than buggy, and those really spoiled the flight simmers' expectations. I'm just thinking of stuff like the Embraer over here, which is now, what, 5 months out, and still much, 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 much worse than what we're seeing here with an open beta program in its very early stages. So those developers' behaviors are simply reflecting very negatively on the expectations of a community. And for that reason, let me assure you that what I'm seeing here in the open beta program is not much different than what I've seen in many closed beta programs of other developers whose products in the end turned out to be real successes and loved by the community. Alright, with that, let's head right into the weekend. If you haven't opted into the open beta program, then I can certainly recommend you to do it and to give those aircraft a try. They will absolutely not be bug-free. Quite the opposite. Indeed, keep in mind, a beta is meant to have the bugs in there for pilots to find them so that the developers can fix them before the official public release. So do expect those bugs, but in my opinion, they give a really good insight into how you can work your way around them, giving you a better system understanding of those aircraft. So do give them a try. I can absolutely recommend them right now, and just keep in mind, remove any mods that you may previously have had. Those will need fixing and adapting after the release of the aircraft, but do give them a try. It's certainly worth it. It's a lot of fun, and you absolutely gain a lot of understanding on how those things work internally once you have actually tried the beta and, well, learned how to work your way around those bugs. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I'm really looking forward to see you all again on the next one. And have a nice weekend. Have a nice morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever it is when you're currently watching this. And I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one. Finally, if you want to support the channel, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. And if you really love what I'm doing, I would appreciate to see you as a channel member, which is going to give you early access to new videos before they're released for everyone else. Thank you for watching, and see you again very soon.